I'm Derek Okahashi.
I'm Michelle.
And this is our short-term rental in Hawaii. So in this video, I'll be doing a handful of things, telling you why we chose Airbnb, why we chose a short-term rental, why we chose this community, how we came across this property. I'm gonna get into our performance so far. Later in the video, we're gonna cut and show you one of the things that was the hardest for us to procure for this rental unit. I didn't know how hard it was to get these things. And then I'm gonna talk about Hawaii is like the most regulated Airbnb short-term rental tourist area. We have the strictest laws around short-term renting. Could be good news, it could be bad news.
I'm Michelle. I am the wife of Derek Okahashi. I help with the back end of things. A lot of things that he cries about, such as taxes and paperwork, and taking care of the kids so that he has the capacity to serve you guys.
I take care of the kids too.
Oh, but I mean, taking them to school, you don't sit down and do homework.
I don't. You guys don't see Michelle in the videos. Michelle is a licensed agent. So let's talk about this investment property, why we chose it, how we decorated it, what it is. We bought this property for a few reasons. As a real estate professional, we have tax advantages for buying investment properties. My CPA said, hey, one of the best ways you can reduce your tax burden is to buy an investment property. And there's a bunch of nuances to that. If you understand depreciation, cost segregation, syndications, all this stuff, there's a whole tax strategy that applies to real estate professionals. Walking the talk and being that real estate professional that you guys want, we were doing that as a family and as a couple. We are already in a few multifamily syndications. Did we buy the fourplex in Puerto Rico before this or after?
Before.
Before. Those are small commitments. This is a big commitment. It was time for us to buy. We were kicking around the idea of getting into the Airbnb thing.
It's scary.
We'll get into that. First question for us, why choose an A-class short-term rental in Hawaii? So why not do a long-term rental? For one, our investment strategy is we want the highest return and the highest tax benefit and or the lowest involvement. The most passive things in real estate you can do are real estate investment trusts, which is like basically investing in a fund, like a Vanguard fund, but it's real estate. Maybe holding notes. So you're the debtor loaning out $100,000 on someone with a small property in Georgia or something. Or kind of my favorite, investing in commercial and multifamily syndication. So you find people who are better investors than you. They buy this 100-unit building, reposition it over 3, 4, 5, 7 years. And then at that time, they send you your money plus a multiple, so usually double. In the meantime, you get some cash flow, you get tax benefits. That's super passive, I like it. Other side of the spectrum, there's like Airbnbs. These are like, you're an active host, but you have the opportunity to make more money each month. And if you've ever read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which everyone should, investments first and foremost are to produce cash flow and financial freedom. Owning things that would potentially give us more cash flow each month is what we're going for with this one. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about how that's been true and not true so far, but we're just getting started. So number one rule in Hawaii, slippers off. I still didn't look up if there's an association rule that they can't be outside, but I wouldn't be surprised in this kind of community if your slippers are not supposed to be out on the front porch. We had our professional designer stage and design this whole thing along with Michelle's help with the logistics and picking out certain things. We're gonna let our camera guy stop squishing in the corner and show you guys the rest of the house. Most of these units have just this regular white railing. They had this wood railing custom made for this unit. Come up the stairs, it splits, it's a split floor plan, and the living room, primary bedrooms over there, kitchen. And I like the design and the feel of these bedrooms better than the main bedroom anyway.
In this bedroom, we have the two twin XL, but the good thing about that is if you look underneath, you can push them together to make a queen bed.
No, king, yeah?
No, queen.
Together? I think it equals a king, yeah?
No, it's a queen because I bought queen sheets for it.
I think it's king,
That's
You wanna bet? Are you willing to bet me?
It's pathetic if we're owners and we don't even know.
You gave me the death look, like you wanna bet. Viewers out there, if you put two twin XLs together, does it, without Googling, if you Google it doesn't count, does it equal a queen or a king? We wanted to stay tasteful, but give it a little bit of a lighter vibe. Kids can play in the middle.
The reason why it's over the garage is because we have two kids and they will make noise from morning till night.
So if someone's gonna bang, I'd rather than be banging over the garage than over other tenants. Robert and Jill, they needed to sell. They called me and said, hey, I know we just moved here a few months ago. I took a big promotion. It's time for me to go. At that moment, I should have said, I'll take it. But actually, I was afraid myself. You're even more afraid because of our personality. When it came time to make an almost $1 million purchase, I was still nervous. You were like, no, at first.
You take more risk and I'm more conservative. There you go.
We got a decent deal. We didn't get like a screaming deal from our clients. Nothing to like super brag about. And in fact, we bought at the peak. We bought at the peak. At the time, there was a record being set and nothing sold that high since.
Then we have this room. It's the queen bed right here with the full-size closet.
Well, it matches my clothes, yeah. What will be added to this room, to the closet likely, is this folding desk. We're gonna get these desks off of Amazon so that another working professional or husband and wife can separate without having to be in the living room where the kids are or whatever. So there'll be 2 areas to work from home. Why Ko'olina? Ko'olina is a resort. The zoning in this specific townhome community kept it so that this community would always be able to do 30-day rentals. Now we can't do 1 night or 7 days, but we could do 30 days at a time. So we chose Ko'olina for that reason. We also chose it because it's A-class. An A-class investment is one that is typically more expensive in a nicer area. The type of clientele and tenant you're dealing with is different. It's bougie, right? Let's call it what it is. It's bougie. It's bougie. It's bougie, and if we wanted to use it, we work hard and we don't like chill enough. And so to have a weekend or something where we come and use this, or we let our team members use it or something. So on this island, if you're buying a short-term rental, you're either buying in a Waikiki, Ko'olina, Turtle Bay on the North Shore, and then there's one building in Honolulu on the northeast side of the island. It's a whole separate thing. I don't even want to talk about it. They're grandfathered in on a loophole.
Waikiki's too busy for me. It's not relaxing. It's chaotic, overstimulates my brain. Over here is really a resort. You can go to the lagoons, walk down the road and get coffee. My favorite thing to do, although he gives me crap about it. Am I allowed to say cat? It is, it's great. If you're staying here and if you're a mom who feeds off of coffee, you can download the Toast app, order whatever you want to order. You walk down, you take a nice morning walk down the resort. It's good exercise. And your coffee's ready for you, so Toast app.
Save your money and invest it. We thought about theming this out as like a Disney, like having a Disney room, because Disney Aulani is like, it's right over there.
By the way, you can go eat lunch or breakfast with Mickey. You just gotta walk over there.
Yeah, well, like we did on your birthday.
Yeah.
We were looking at Orlando because of the whole Disney thing, and it would be fun for us. The numbers in Orlando are pinched because that secret's out, and so we chose Hawaii. For you, why Waikiki versus Ko'olina?
Okay, so I think Waikiki
Relaxing, right?
city, Ko'olina country. Sort of.
I'd say Turtle Bay is more country, yeah. Because like Turtle Bay is where you're gonna go and find like a acai smoothie hut on the side of the road.
Yeah, but you can go get a latte down the road.
So bougie, not really country, bougie. So for me, why are we here? I'll get a little more specific. We're in this community in Ko'olina because you get the most bang for your buck in terms of square footage. I'll also give a nod to Hillside. Hillside's in the back, it's a different community. There's like 6 communities in Ko'olina. One's an anomaly, so it's right in front of the lagoon, beachside villas. You can rent for 6 nights at a time. It's fully resort zoned. It's a whole different thing. You drive by it and you think it's a hotel. The other 5 communities are townhome communities, and with this Bill 41 coming especially, you weren't gonna be able to rent for 30 days at a time in all communities. So this community, Ko'olina Kai Golf Estates, Coconut Plantation, and then the one by the front gate, Kailani, those I knew you were gonna continue to be able to do the 30-day thing. In terms of those 3, Kailani, Coconut Plantation, and Ko'olina Kai Golf Estate, you get the most square footage, a nice layout. In my opinion, you get more for your money. Yours is unconventional for different reasons. There's a lot going on with the
We bought a house from Core Team Hawaii here in Honolulu.
For me, I feel like the YouTube videos were incredibly helpful because I got to see the area before I moved to the area. I got to get like a vibe off of the area without ever having to actually be here in person.
Even though we are here and we live here now, we own a home here, we still watch your videos.
You guys all know Mahe and I believe. We also have Aiden. Aiden's our young guy.
I don't know if you can pan out at some point to show everyone here at this gathering, like everyone's talking, everyone's laughing, just listening to music, sitting back, having a drink.
All these people behind us come from many different walks of life. I mean, we have people who lived here all their lives, we have people from all over the mainland, and I mean, that's just what makes it so cool. I mean, that's how our team works as well.
Connected with Derek, and Derek was able to help us sell my mom's childhood home.
They were really descriptive in their videos, answered all our questions. They were awesome.
Great team.
We talked about the reasons why we bought, but what about for the guests? All the things you can do here.
A lot of good places to eat. My favorite is Monkey Pod.
We have an affinity for Roy's because that's the family. All right, if you come and stay here, we're gonna connect you with the manager of Roy's, which is like a stone's throw, right? Like you just walk, you're 2-3 minutes, you're over there. It's Roy's on the golf course. It's amazing. Food's great. Monkey Pod has a more diverse menu.
Sometimes they have live music. At both, right?
Yeah, actually, Roy started doing live music. Monkey Paw is just a little more basic. Like, it's nice food, like a pesto, this, that. Roy's is a little bit more upscale, a little more expensive, and more limited menu. But the experience, if our guy, Ty at Roy's, takes care of you at Roy's, you can't get that experience at Monkey Pod. I'll give Monkey Pod the nod for the food, but Roy's for the experience.
Island Vintage Coffee. There's another one. Oh, we have the best ABC store down the road. The best. You can get like lunch plate, everything, food. I think they open late so you can get again, I'm going to say it, sorry, wine.
Our pool is amazing. The hot tub is hot. The pool is amazing. Great place for the kids to play. It's a true resort style pool. You're close to the west side beaches. I don't know if there's a better place on the island to just walk out of your door and go on morning runs and walk and like saltwater swims. There's like a retired early at 50 triathlete vibe in here, you know? If I need to come to Hawaii, clear my mind for a few weeks, a month, 2 months, 6 weeks, recharge, we wouldn't do it in Waikiki, and we may even get bored in Turtle Bay. And so Ko'olina, it's just a perfect balance. If you want to be secluded like that, like you're in a secluded resort on Maui, you can just stay here and get that, or you can get out and do more things.
What'd you do for your birthday here?
I did a catamaran. There's a couple, like Ko'olina Adventures or Ko'olina something. The crew is super cool. It's like one of the cooler things I've ever done for my birthday. And if you're here for a month, that's a thing you can do as well. Hey, you know what? Have you ever had the breakfast sandwich at the golf thing below Roy's? Because it's not like it's like a clubhouse. It's just like a little stand.
You mean the snack shop where people stop
Yeah,
for in
Lauren
the
said
between
the breakfast
golfing?
sandwich is good.
Oh, no way, wow.
Yeah, and they have Starbucks, so. Washer dryer. This was never intended to be a short-term rental. It's like brand new high-end LG appliances. You would typically never find this in a rental of any sort. I think we have the nicest one in Ko'olina. What you think?
Yeah, next time close the door.
This is definitely nicer than our house, yeah.
Oh yeah, we didn't even decide what to put in our house. We just threw things together.
So if you come and stay with us in Hawaii, figuratively, you'll be staying in the nicest thing we own because our house isn't this nice. Our house isn't even this big, actually. We have a yard and a bigger garage.
For all my mommies out there who want to have a glass of wine, here we go. Call me up. Put Mickey Mouse up there. Just a little taste of Disney Aulani, even though you're not staying there. Keurig, coffee maker, air fryer, rice cooker. If you love rice and you're from Hawaii, we always have on our lunch plate 2 scoops of rice and 1 side of mac salad. So if you love your rice, here we have it. All the cooking utensils you need, fully stocked.
What was challenging about the kitchen?
Nothing. The kitchen was the easiest thing, actually, because you can get everything off of Amazon. It was the first thing that was fully stocked when we got this house and put everything together. It was the bedrooms that were the hardest.
I'll say one thing, so in Ko'olina, in these units, they pretty much don't vary. The units at the end of the development got the complimentary upgrades because they had extra materials. And then very few of the units in between in earlier phases did the owners pay for the upgrades. Like a really thick crown molding across the entire unit, wooden cabinets. I'll admit, I do like the wooden cabinets that some of the other units have. So we spiced it up with some staging and greenery and stuff. Former owners redid the tile floor. If any of your association people are watching, only in the wet spaces, like only in the kitchen and bathroom. Everything else is really thick carpet, thicker than it needs to be. I'm gonna get into the numbers. The performance is all over, and we knew that before we bought it. Some people are performing here, some people are performing here. It's all over, and it's actually been all over for us in our first 2 months as well. It took me a while to get past, to get in the mindset to make this purchase. I had to convince myself. You're even more risk averse. How'd you feel?
I wanted to back out. I wanted to go small, but he wanted to go big. So it felt more safe to do something like a long-term rental somewhere on the island that's not a resort, but the income is not as great as this.
We didn't get this for quite $1 million, but let's just call it $1 million, it's easier. You go to Eva Beach and you buy a home in a 3-2, you get a loan, put 20% down, So you're borrowing $800,000. With the interest rates on a second home loan, interest rate would probably be 7%. If you bought on an ARM, even lower, which is what we did, payment on $800,000 at 6% was gonna be 5,000 something. Let's call it 5,500. That thing's gonna rent for 3,800, maybe not 4,000. If we bought $1 million house on this island and rented it at a year at a time, we stand to lose like 1,500 a month, guaranteed every month. Don't ever make that purchase. With this, average probably 5,000-6,000 for those lower end operators. And then there's people I've seen get like 13,000 a month. Now they're having to pay Airbnb and taxes, and so they're not keeping that delta in their pocket entirely. But you see some big numbers, especially in the winter months. And so we figured here, we could at least get the 3,500 a month that you get in Eva Beach. Our floor was higher than the long-term rental side, but our upside was way more. So if we were gonna commit to this island, after we got through the fear, this made a lot of sense, right? Where'd you get these rugs?
Oh, Ruggable.
Probably everyone out there has seen the ads for Ruggable, yeah? Have you seen those ads?
I haven't.
You can switch them out. So after each tenant, you can wash them if need to. Especially under the kitchen though, where people, I'm sorry, not kitchen, but table, where people actually eat and there's crumbs.
That's one thing about this place is you have to have carpet, even here where you dine. Cost of furnishing. How much did it cost though? Like 20,000?
15, maybe 16 grand to furnish everything. It would have been our mistake easier if we bought things way ahead of time through Amazon, because you can get things way cheaper, like the bed frames. But Amazon, they were out of stock of the style we need, so we kind of had to mix and match with what they had in stock here. Amazon, NEX, and everywhere and anywhere you can find.
Because like we got this from the discount tent, we got that from Ashley, we got that from Value, we got that from Costco.
In Hawaii, it's very difficult to get furniture, so you have to get things shipped. We went to the NEX military, and anything you want from there is a 3-month wait. So we had things coming in from all over the place. So it took us a while to get onto the market.
And I would say it cost more because our time, it was stressful.
It was.
Like if we had planned better or just stole someone else's like inventory sheet and just bought what they bought or something. Trying to run a busy real estate team
with kids,
probably should just pay like a project manager. Like you do it all and let me know when it's done. If we would have finished it 3 weeks earlier as a result and rented it, we could have planned better. If we bought another one of these, we'd have a checklist of all this stuff and we'd say buy this, buy that while we were in escrow.
Just learn how to be faster next time.
What you'll see in this video, the way things look, that's how we like your home to look when we're selling it. So really I went to our stager, Jeannie. And I was like, hey, you know how our listings look? Can you make my vacation rental look like that? I don't want to speak for Michelle, but I don't have this much style.
I'm a mom. I don't have style.
I went to a conference. It was at the Four Seasons. It was around the time we were decorating this place. The Four Seasons had these things. So I took a picture of it. I sent it to our designer, and I was like, hey, let's put that in. She knew, and you knew too, yeah? Nick Kuchar. Yeah. Let's give a shout out to Nick. You say he went to Canberra, he's from Eva?
Eva Beach, based out of Eva Beach.
Based out of Eva Beach. Local artist, amazing art. And if the Four Seasons is doing it, good enough for us. So we just said, hey, can we do some of those? So you'll see these things sprinkled throughout the house. Babe, 100% it's a king. So if we have extra queen sheets, then that's not.
This is not on camera.
No, this is on camera.
So from here, and then look, this remaining.
King.
Wait. You're gonna have to speed this up. All right, it's a king. Well, that means I have to go get more sheets.
So what you owe me?
I said nothing. I didn't bet against anything. See what I have to deal with? Beginning September all the way till beginning October.
We cash flowed positive on that. So our burn rate for this condo is somewhere around $6,000 a month. That's not including cleaning, taxes, etc., expenses that revolve around the booking. Principal, interest, taxes, insurance, association dues, and utilities, somewhere around $6,000 a month. So any month that it's sitting vacant, we're losing about $6,000, which happening right now. This month we're losing money, but the first month we rented it, what did we make?
2,000 maybe?
A little over 2,000. We started operating in the slowest time. So we started operating in the fall, which is Hawaii's slowest time. The winter is when you see those bigger bookings, and in the summer, obviously people can take vacations. But spring's better than fall. So we started operating in the worst months. And we stayed committed to our price too long in October. We should have dropped it. But we're new operators and we made a mistake.
I have a lot of requests for December, January, February, but not in October and November. I think people want to be home for the holidays, maybe.
Here's a story. My wife,
Oh, no.
I say we're tight on our money, like not on everything, you know, like eating out, some conveniences, but like we don't have as big of a house as we could. We drive older cars. We want the passive income from investment before we go and spend money on those large ticket items. And so we had a small TV at home and the kids broke it. And so when it came time to get a new TV, Michele decided to get this one, and it was like an eclipse.
Well, because it was blocking the windows.
So we were able to move it over here. For people who come and stay with us, you get to enjoy things that even we don't. This is one of the best places to stand up paddleboard. When people go and buy their Costco stand up paddleboards, which you could do. I mean, if you're on vacation here, you're gonna buy one at Costco for $300. Well, every time you rent it, it's gonna be like $50 anyways. If you're gonna be here for a month on vacation, you could just go buy one. So in our WAIANAE video, we go here. This is a nicer bed than we have. Everything's nicer than ours.
You know they cleaned it, right?
It smells good, actually. The cleaners did a good job. We know that in this modern age, if someone's coming here for 30 days, they're likely a parent or parents or whoever. They're gonna need to work from home. Working desk in here, very comfortable chair. TV, so you can get that separation. You were with the kids all day at the beach.
This is the ladies' den. And then that's the men, for the men. Right here, this small little.
If you're local and you're like, hey, you should have went to Marukai or Shirki or whatever, then tell me in the comments. But you couldn't find this thing anywhere. And that thing was an ironing board. Try look, like when you go to Walmart or Target, Hawaii doesn't have these anymore.
They only have the half size. I went Walmart, Ross, all over the island.
No Target. Like you couldn't find an ironing board.
Amazon was $80 for the most basic one you can find, until we went to the NEX. I had to cancel Amazon to get this. We got lucky.
How much was it?
$18, NEX.
We would have paid $80. Just an example of how hard it can be to get things in Hawaii. I always do this. When someone calls me to sell a house, I'm just meeting them because they watched these videos and they reached out. Contact information below, myhawaiihomevalue.com. I always ask people, like, why are you selling? Are you sure you want to sell? Our friend David, when he hit me up, I said, hey, do you want to rent it? Because he was going to the mainland. I said, do you want to rent this one and then rent on the mainland? In case you don't like the mainland, you can still move back to Hawaii, because when local people get out of the market here and move to Vegas or whatever, it's hard for them to get back in the market. That wasn't the case with Robert and Jill. Like, they'll be able to get back in the Hawaii market one day, but I challenged them. I was like, you guys love this home. Do you just want to rent it? Just like me, they didn't want the long-term rent performance, because the long-term rent performance on this is like less than $4,000. When I challenged them if they want to short-term rent it, they said, well, what are the numbers? I talked to one of the most dominant investors on this resort, who's a friend of ours, and I've actually seen the bookings. Like I've seen the performance. People rent these things from $4,500 a month all the way up to like $13,000 a month, and everywhere in between. And our owners just didn't want to deal with that. They didn't want to deal with the unknown of losing money. Is this property gonna make us rich? I'll be honest, we're probably at a break even right now, maybe. I expect on the year that we'll be cash flow positive, because November, December, January, and probably in February, those months are gonna yield us positive cash flow, gonna make up for the slow months of the fall. And then the summer will come. I imagine we have a month or two in the spring where we hope to break even, and then the summer will bring us to slight profitability. But having a property that we are overall positive on each year, cash flowing positive, that has a great tax benefit, is that gonna make us rich? Over time, slowly it will. It's get rich slow, not get rich fast, right? If you wanna buy one of these and be an operator, this is gonna matter to you as well, because how long do people have to book for? Investors wanna know, like local people who watch our channel wanna know. Everyone wants to know about this tax stuff. I'm gonna be as entertaining as possible, keep it as brief as possible. There's the city rule, there's the Bill 41 rule, and then there's also the association. So leases are supposed to be for 30 days or 29 nights. I cannot be monetizing this thing every week. As a real estate professional, my license is too important to me, and we don't want to disrespect the people of this community. They have the rule that you have to book for a month at a time. I can have my friend use it, my sister and I can stay here if she's in town. That's a whole different thing. But in terms of booking to you, the general public, you want to come out here on vacation. We really want people that are intending to be here 3 to 4 weeks for a vacation rental booking. Please look at the other link below. At one point, they were giving exemptions for people to do a hard surface flooring with the appropriate amount of padding underneath. I don't know the full history about it. That's not being approved anymore, is my understanding. So you have to do, it's at least a 60-ounce carpet, and my clients, my former owners, went 70, or it's at least 70 and they went 80. Either way, we have some like really thick carpet that feels super luxurious.
Out here is the back patio. Out here you have my favorite place to relax, get away from the kids, read a book, play board games, drink a glass of wine. You have a table to eat out here, talk story, and enjoy the Ko'olina scenery. You can see Disney Aulani back there. Robert and Jill, the previous tenants, they would send us picture of the orange sky, so you might be able to catch nice orange, pink sunsets.
Best sunsets on the island. I mean, not from our patio, but this, like Ko'olina, has the best sunsets on the island.
I would suggest walking down with food and just picnic out on one of the lagoons.
This is our getaway. This is our place to come and recharge. Maybe in like 6 to 9 months from now, I'll do a video and talk more about the performance. I'd like to go through the winter, which is one of the busier times, tell you guys how we cash flow, tell you if maybe we tried to buy another one or if we felt like, man, this was a mistake. We'll keep you guys updated on this investment and how it's performing, maybe using it occasionally, but more importantly, how we're enjoying having it as an investment and everything that comes with that. What is Bill 41? So let's just go over the high points. Bill 41 said no more 30-day rentals, minimum 90 on the island of Oahu, Honolulu County, unless zoning allows you to. There's a bunch of people suing the city saying this bill is not allowed. In fact, you could go to Tupola, one of the cooler politicians in Hawaii. She was the only person apparently to vote no against this bill. I just saw that on her Instagram this morning. If that's true, that's disappointing. Because what the bill did made it so that you could only rent your home for 90 days, not 65, not 54. You want to say, hey, you shouldn't be able to rent for 1 night at a time, 7 nights at a time. At some point, we can find our common ground. And so who does that hurt? Traveling nurses need to come and work in Hawaii and rent for less than 90 days. Transitioning military, corporate employees, contractors that come to work on infrastructure. There's all these reasons that someone needs to come to Hawaii for a longer amount of time than the standard vacation. I believe she said in her Instagram post, Bill 41 is illegal. You cannot restrict people from renting their home for 30 days at a time. Now, associations can. If you live in this building and the association is 85% owner occupants, and they say, we don't want that. We don't even want 30-day renters in our building. Then the association can do that. Will Bill 41 even be a thing when you're watching this video? We don't know. Will Ko'olina be unique in being a place where it's one of the only places on the island where you can do 30-day rentals? Will there be no unique value in Ko'olina in terms of being able to do 30-day rentals? And what will that mean for people like me who own one and bought kind of at the peak? I don't like Bill 41 because I'm a fan of less rules and less government in general. I was in the United States Coast Guard, and I saw how wasteful that spending could be. I saw how at the end of every fiscal year, we just wasted money. And so in general, I'm more of a small government person when it comes to my fiscal stance on things. And Bill 41 just means more rules for more people, but it's coming from a good place. They don't want investors buying up everything, because if you could take a place like this and rent it for 1 night at a time, 3, 4, 5 nights at a time, we cash flow so much that investors would buy everything. Like, until the market reached saturation, investors would buy every house on this island to treat it as a short-term rental. If in Pro City, if in Kailua, Hawaii Kai, Kaneohe, if in these places, in these random communities that do not have an HOA that'll supersede the government ruling, if they have no HOA and you can just do 30-day rentals, there'll be nothing unique about my property. And with that being said, my property will probably have lower performance. Are we going to have an increased budget for enforcement? Are we now going to have hundreds of thousands, if not millions more, committed to an office of people that are scouring Airbnb, auditing people's monetization, etc.? Another thing is, Bill 41 made it so that if you were renting for less than 90 days, you had to acquire a TVU license number, transient vacation unit, so short-term rental, Airbnb. If you had one of these, you're going to rent for 30 days at a time. You had to get that number and pay a separate tax. Airbnb has it all built in. The tax is passed on to the consumer. If you owned like what I own, a townhome that you rent for 30 days at a time, so it's a TVU, you're gonna pay even more than the commercial tax rate, which is already like 4 times the regular home exempted tax rate, higher than the commercial tax rate, but maybe slightly lower than the resort, but probably closer to the resort tax rate, which I think is like $20-something per thousand. Like if you own $1 million, a $999,000 home, tax assessed value, you'd be paying around $20,000 a year. That would be enough that it would no longer make sense for me to own this thing. I would sell it and then go invest on the mainland. Some people out there watching this, if you're still following, may say, well, good, Derek. We don't want you to own this thing as an investment because we need more people. We need more Hawaiians. We need more local people to have a place to live. With Bill 41 in place, you could only do this in like Ko'olina, Turtle Bay. These are such a small percentage of the homes on the island. I'm not for the entire island becoming investment properties. I don't want to see that at all. There was also another thing. There's a part of Bill 41 that said one natural person can own one TV, one human, one LLC, one entity. So if I own an LLC, either me or my LLC, the way I read it, so we can own one. Could I own one and my wife own one with Bill 41? I suppose. But could I, Derek, own 3 investment properties in Ko'olina? I literally read it like 5 times. I was like, so one natural owner. What about the people that already own 5 in here? They're gonna get some crazy assessment, like 30 grand a year, and then have to sell them. But Bill 9, if you let a home in Hawaii sit vacant for more than 180 days, you will get a 3% assessment. So if you own $1 million property and you don't stay here half the year, you'd pay $30,000 a year just to own it, and like a one-time assessment. Maybe there's an attorney watching this, or some state politician or something who knows the rules better than I do. Feel free to give me a call. I want to learn as much as I can, and I want to be, you know, the knowledge source for everyone. You know, I want everyone to come to us and watch this channel for knowledge. This update video that we shoot probably in the summer, in 9 months from now, will be interesting. You know, I may have bought a property that had some unique value to it because Bill 41 was being passed, and now that unique value is partially taken away. People that own properties on the perimeter of the island, like on the North Shore, Oceanside. I spoke to an owner. For decades, this family's been running it as a vacation rental. And with Bill 41, it made it illegal for them to rent it for even 30 nights because it's not in a resort-zoned area. Have you guys heard of Pipeline, the famous surf spot? A house sitting in front of Pipeline could be worth $10 million if, you know, Quicksilver or Nike wants to buy it, because it's just like you're sitting in like the greatest surf theater of the world. Or to an investor, you know, it could be worth $4, $6 million, etc. If you can do short-term renting. If you take that away and you say, hey, you can only rent this to long-term, you know, like year leases, 90-day leases, etc. It changes the whole framework. And if someone bought that property like 3 years ago at $4 million, and now it's reduced to $2 million because of this law, like that person's whole life is ruined. But I get it too. I get the people that are like, hey, Derek, we'll take some of those casualties if it means reducing the cost of housing for more local people to keep their houses and stay in Hawaii or be able to get a house. You know what? We're starting a podcast, and I'll bring on someone with more competing points of view from mine, and we'll talk about it.